TNA sources say the negotiations with WGN, which if you remember last month we mentioned were basically close to being done, are ongoing. Pandey officials are considering the idea of going with a half-hour time slot rather than a full hour in an attempt to cut their programming fees in half. TNA officials have yet to officially address the WGN rumors via a wrestler meeting, but both Dixie Carter and Jeff Jarrett have mentioned it during one-on-one conversations with wrestlers.
Giving the Iggy to the people they like.
Yeah, it's scoops, one-on-one scoops. It's funny, we've gone to the same old story in TNA where it's like, last month this thing was guaranteed happening to the degree that they started teasing it on the television show with Jeff Jarrett's big announcement, which that big announcement technically ended up being Johnny Fairplay, following through the story thread.
Yeah, but something so big that it will change the face of the wrestling world, Johnny Fairplay.
That's true, I can't deny it. But here we are in January where we realize this WGN deal may not be happening. So another note, if a deal with WGN has been reached, it's news to members of the office staff. That said, most sources believe in terms of the deal. This is what I get for waking up. You dragged me on. I got up 30 minutes early so I could wake up, but then you still dragged me on early because you're too impatient and bored.
If a deal with WGN has been reached, it's news to members of the office staff. That said, most sources believe the terms of the deal have been set and that it's a matter... It's just a matter of TNA management deciding whether they want to sign off on it. One of the strengths of the deal is the WGN is letting TNA keep all of the commercial time. That means TNA would have to sell their own ads, but there are said to be several deals already in place with potential advertisers.
I am so glad you fucked that up because you would have been so smug if you didn't.
In my head the whole time I was going, don't fuck up, which is probably why I did, because I was too busy focusing on not fucking up.
So yeah, later in the month from the Wrestling Observer, there has been little to no talk of late regarding the WGN deal. We're told it's neither dead nor imminent.
It is in stasis.
I do know fans have written WGN in support of them picking up the show, have been told by the station PR specifically, it's not going to happen. The only reason I wouldn't say it's dead, again, this is the I here, is Dave Meltzer. Dave writes in the first person a lot more than PW Torch do. They always write in third person. The only reason I wouldn't say it's dead is because the idea was to buy it as paid programming as opposed to the show they were picking up. And also in the 90s, when we got word from WCW that they were getting WGN in 6 months, the next 6 months saw WGN deny it, but eventually it actually happened. Of course, we know this deal never came through. They never came to fruition. They would buy time eventually on Fox Sports later in the summer. But this WGN deal, which was a done deal, definitely happening at the end of 2003, is now by the end of January 2004, off the table.
And thus begins our company lifelong relationship with television and getting time slots and not having time slots and it getting all thrown about. I don't think there's been a company with a more tumultuous television history than TNA.
And I don't think this is going to be the last time we're going to mention TNA negotiating with WGN in particular. Which was regularly a name that popped up every time TNA were trying to get TV. It was always like, oh, what about WGN? Huh? What about them?
But will they, won't they?
So they should really stop teasing and announcing things like this before they have deals signed and in place. They have not learned their lesson, Liam.
Yeah, but it's funnier this way, so hey.